Kia ora and welcome to the Trends Property Inside series. I'm your host, Andrew Johnston, and today we're diving into the ultimate feature that defines outdoor living in New Zealand, and that's the classic Kiwi swimming pool. But we're not just talking about cool aesthetics, we're focusing on strategic outdoor integration, site-specific construction, and long-term property value. My guest is Damian Francis, who leads the team at Frontier Pools, a company with nearly 50 years of bespoke concrete pool craftsmanship in the Auckland market. Damian brings a hands-on background in construction and specialty in high-end projects, from infinity edge showpieces to compact plunge pools and tight city sites. If you're dreaming of a pool, whether you're renovating, building new, or just planning for the future, Damian's here to share the non-negotiable checks, the smart design choices, and the pitfalls to avoid to ensure your pool adds both lifestyle and lasting value to your home. Well, Damian, thank you for taking some time away from working on swimming pools to sit down in the nice warm studio with me.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, now, for those people who obviously don't know you, how did you get into swimming pools? What was it something that you decided to do, and how long have you been doing it for?
So I have been working for Frontier Pools for over 12 years. We moved to the North Island from the south. Down there I was running a small company, doing some concrete, doing some landscaping down there. So it was a natural transition to move into the pool industry. So it looked interesting to me, and it's something that doesn't really happen in any great capacity in the South Island. It's quite cold, so
it
seemed to be a very vibrant sort of industry to be involved with. And
Well, it seems like a natural combination of concrete landscaping and swimming pools, being that Frontier Pools pretty much specialise in that sort of concrete pool market, don't you?
Yeah, so I had a bit of natural knowledge, I guess, on, concrete and that sort of thing as well. So, and landscaping is, quite a particular skill, if you like. So it's nice to have a little bit of knowledge in landscaping and how, pools fit into the equation. So.
Yeah, because it must be quite a big factor, right? Someone says to you, hey, I want to get a swimming pool.
Yep.
And you go in and you look at their backyard, and you are also assessing at the end of the day what the landscaping might work with the pool when it's in and complete. Yeah,
so, a lot of that's pre-planning stuff. That's, the question, I guess, is, when we meet clients, is how did they come to that point? And a lot of the time it's they've spent a bit of time overseas, obviously with the family, and maybe a resort or something like that. So I think a lot of inquiry comes from that sort of line.
Yep.
Not only that, it's more like, if it was a family memory when they were younger, or they've been to friends' places and, enjoyed their time, poolside, and, they want some of it for themselves, which is, that's really the main driver, I feel. It's not so much pretty pictures in a book, but how they've felt in certain situations. Yeah.
Do you think it creates sort of quality time?
I reckon. I think it's more of pools are very family orientated additions to a home. It keeps the kids close. If you've got growing kids or small families, it's like, a lot of the time the kids are small, and they grow up with a pool, and by the time they become teenagers, it keeps them close. Keeps mum and dad, they know where they are. They can bring their friends there. The friends enjoy it, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's quite a emotional type of decision. That's I think that's the key.
Yeah, they can't be on their screens when they're in the pool, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So where does it normally start in terms of if someone does reach out to you? What do? They call you up and say, "Hey, we've decided we want a swimming pool. Come and check out our house." What does the process look like from the beginning?
Yeah, usually, if it's a cold call out of the blue, I'll go and see them, and we can have a chat about where they're at with their idea, and then usually at that point we just discuss, the what you're after, design, concepts. Have they got a designer or a landscape architect? Because usually it's not just the pool; it's the whole backyard.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all got to be considered. So. Yeah, that's the first conversation. And
is it normally that it's in coordination with a professional that's reaching out to you, or is it just literally someone as a consumer, or is it a bit of both?
Yeah, normally 90% of the time, it's beneficial for everybody to have that real clear design. I think that's the key to it, is talking to the designer and, looping back to why they want to pool, and talking to them, how they felt when they went to Bali or whatever. And,
Yes,
they're trying to create that feeling again. Yeah, so definitely a key part is design, and having that focus on, what they want at the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And are there particular sites or locations that lend themselves better to swimming pools than others that, when you go in and assess, you say this is a perfect location, and maybe one that's not so great?
Yeah, I think, the possibilities are endless, really. We haven't really come across a site where we can't build a pool. There's always, if you're prepared to do what it takes, you can definitely build a pool.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how big or small. Yeah. So obviously Auckland's, all of the sites are quite tight, typically in the backyard. So you've got access challenges to get through, trying to get to the backyard with machinery and stuff. But yeah, I think there's always possibility.
And that design phase you're talking about, normally does that take in terms of time? Is it a month, 2 months, 5 months? How long does it normally take from that before you actually get something on site starting to construct?
Yeah, could be like 4 weeks to 12 sort of thing.
Okay.
In the design phase.
Yep.
Once you engage the landscape architect, and then they go for a chat, and then, over 2 or 3 weeks they'll come up with a concept drawing, and then it's just presented to the clients, and if they're happy with that, they'll go ahead and move into the consenting stage, and the ball rolls from there. So
yep.
Month to 3 months, 2 months maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how much involvement do you have in terms of looking at the suggestions a designer might have versus the practicalities of construction?
Yeah, we get we do engage. Like they'll always talk to us as far as design, what works and what doesn't with regards to structure, pool covers or water features or stuff like that. So we do have a bit of involvement, but realistically, it's more they take care of it.
Yep.
And we just, observe until we get some drawings ourselves. And, talk about what the concepts are.
So you touch on some parts of the system, the pool system, either features or covers and stuff like that. So for a person who doesn't think about swimming pools every day, what are some of the pieces you should think about in terms of the finish or the shape or these infinity edges versus a pool cover? What are the parts of the system that make up a good pool design in the end?
I think keeping it simple is the key to a good pool. Keeping the filtration, a good capacity of filtration to turn the water over and clean it up. There's infinity edges. They offer another factor, I guess, is they're a quite expensive option, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't work in all environments. Mm-hmm. Typically an infinity edge would be added when you've got maybe a sea view or a country view, and you want to draw that in a bit.
Okay.
And those are all design questions and, what works.
So in terms of the components besides what you see, you've got like the filtration systems and things like that. So what are some of the ways people should consider where they're going to put it? Are they noisy? Are they hard to take care of? What's your experience with the actual systems around the pool?
We normally just contain the equipment itself. There's a little bit of a hum. We typically put them in a place where it's not going to annoy people, so you wouldn't put it outside under a decking or so.
Yep.
Put it in its own little shed, and then you can have a bit of acoustic sound bats or something to dampen it down a bit. But in general, they don't. The technology's pretty good. They're nice and quiet these days. Mm-hmm. A little bit of white noise in the background sometimes. Yeah.
For people when they're getting into that construction phase, so let's say we've spent 4 to 12 weeks getting our design all done, what's the next step in the process? What do you do from there?
So obviously if the design's all complete, a lot of the time the landscape architect would lodge the consent. So that's a big part of the process. Providing all the documents that's required to build a pool. Obviously fencing's a big part of that. Designing it so it's going to comply with pool fencing in New Zealand. So once that's done, we book the diggers in basically and start making a plan for digging, getting the backyard done.
Mm.
And when we go into when we take care of the pool, there might be landscapers involved as well. So we try and collaborate with other parties as well and make that excavation time productive as possible, because we're talking about a whole backyard. So if you've got a good sized machine and you've got a holistic picture of the design, you want to make sure, hey, let's use this digger for, stripping out gardens and preparing the site for new landscaping and that sort of stuff. So try and take a holistic view when there's machines involved. And especially if the access is tight.
Yep.
And obviously sometimes you put the pole where the access is and then there's no getting back. So
yeah, of course.
we try and think of that sort of stuff. Yeah.
And with those tight sites, are there limits then in terms of what you can do because you can't get past the house? And how do you sort of work around that?
Yeah, the machines, obviously the bigger the machine, the quicker you can dig it out. So obviously if you can get the better access, the quicker it will happen. But the smaller machines, you just got to, get smaller diggers and smaller.
Just take longer.
Just takes longer.
More scoops.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And it takes, obviously adds a bit of cost to the job as well when things take that little bit longer. But we haven't, we've done all sorts of digs. We've done digs in rock, which, in Mount Eden, there's rock everywhere. We spent 3 weeks. I think that was the highest.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the probably biggest bill for digging. Was something. It was quite horrendous, for about $50,000 or something just for the dig.
Just for the dig.
Yeah, but it was a quite extensive rock, like real solid lava flow. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but we stopped at the end of week 1 and talked to the owners and say, hey, this is what we got. Do you want to carry on? Gave them the option. Do we pull the pin now? Or
Yep.
And they just went, no, let's keep going. So
Excellent.
yeah, I think we started on day 1. I think it was like a 5-ton machine.
Wow.
And the excavator guy, these guys know their craft. They said, let's get a 12. I think it was a 12-ton. So he basically doubled the machine. And there was a conversation with the neighbours with getting that in. It's
right.
like, yeah. But that worked out, and we got a massive, decent sized machine. And that was 3 weeks with a 12-tonner. So
Wow.
It wasn't a small machine.
And was it ended up being a big pool, or was it just simply the time?
It wasn't huge. It was quite a tricky little pool, obviously in rock. But it was nice. Yeah, really worked out well.
And in terms of sizes of pools,
Yep.
what's the smallest up to the biggest that you've done?
We've done small 3x3, 3x2 plunge pools. Being the smallest, the average size, I call average, it's probably, an 8x4 pool. That would be an average size. And then, we've done, what have we done? It was 25 metre lap pools we're involved with at the moment. So,
yep.
Right, everything in between. Really nice one out at Coatesville there. Probably it's a real showpiece, actually. Beautiful home. And we did some fish ponds.
Oh, yeah.
We're involved with that.
Yeah.
We didn't really take care of the fish part, but just did the structure of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just flowed down into the pool area. Really, quite a proud one, that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's where the water feature type stuff comes into play.
Yeah, there's water feature. Yeah, there's pond feature and how do we spill over and And the thing with the fish was interesting. The client just sits there with his feet in the water and looks at fish for his downtime.
Nice.
And he loves it,
Yeah.
And obviously looking at the pool as well and all of that. So that pool was quite, I think it was a 20 by 5 metre pool, and then it had sort of a spa as well and little swim out areas for kids to play in. And it was quite a feat. And that was, beautiful design as well.
So the options are endless, really, in terms of whatever someone can think up.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
And in terms of looking after the pool, do you always have to have a pool cover? Should you have a pool cover? What's the philosophy there?
Yeah, so the pool, so covers are more, they stop evaporation, will control it a bit, and retain heat. So good to have. You save on power when you're heating it. You can cover it at night. So that's the main factor for covers. You've got, obviously, if you don't have a cover, you lose a bit of water and evaporation. If you're in a windy area, you're always topping it up.
Yeah.
So those are the main factors for covers. There's really heat retention and evaporation. Yeah.
Because how much water would be in your typical 8 metre by 4 metre pool?
8 by 4, so it's about 50,000 litres. Don't quote me on the maths.
Yeah, but it's a lot of water, right? So
Yeah,
you don't have to keep topping it up if you can save.
Yeah, if you can save, sometimes you can lose 10 mil on a real hot, windy day, and over a few days it's, down that much. So if you can control it, that's good. Yeah.
And in terms of the water quality or the type of water, and you talk about some people who had pools as kids might remember sort of chlorinated water, and there were some pools back in the day that used to be salt water. But what is the kind of water, and how do you deal with that, kind of keeping it clean and maintained?
Yeah, so sanitation's, like you say, chlorine was the flavour. It still really is these days. People get confused with a salt pool. Being a salt pool, they think, oh yeah, it's not chlorine, but in fact, salt, not new technology, it's just converting salt to chlorine. So that's the idea there. So you're adding salt to the pool, and then you have some electrolysis to convert the salt to chlorine. So
right,
they're tried and true systems. They're not overly expensive, and then you've got other options like mineral systems that don't use salt, but they use minerals to clean the water up and make it nice and clean and safe.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the main two. And then you can go back to the tried and true, which is just your chlorine tablet feeder, or sometimes you can just tip liquid chlorine in. Right, and so chlorine's always a little bit of a talking point with customers is, what are they getting in their pool? And it's always quite a conversation.
Because when the salt goes into the machine, it turns into chlorine, and then it comes back out again as salt, right? So you're not ever having to sort of have that chlorinated feeling on you.
No, it's a lot softer. It's a softer feeling chlorine, if you like. It's low salt as well, so you're not tasting it, or it's just a nicer feel.
And is the machinery that runs the pool, in terms of the filters, do they take a lot of work? Like, what's involved in terms of maintaining, in terms of backwashing, back flushing? Are there things you have to do daily, weekly, monthly that keep the pool running properly?
Yeah, absolutely. It's I think we try and encourage the owners of a new pool to learn how to do the basics, like backwashing, like clearing the baskets, doing the basic stuff and regularly. The pool's not going to take care of itself. A lot of the time, we'll introduce a valet at the start anyway, because we'd like to it actually does two things. A new pool, we like to take care of the chemicals in that first stage of a new plastered pool, because it's the chemicals can jump around a bit, if you like, so we need to monitor those quite closely for a period. So at that time, we introduce a valet, and then we encourage the owners to shoulder watch, see what they're up to, ask them questions, and then just get familiar with it. And then what we do at the end of that startup period, we do a big, a handover with the clients and teach them how to do all of those good parts.
But if I didn't want to continue to do it, you could still offer that service in terms of coming to clean and job.
Yeah. So we'd normally just involve the valet and give them an option to continue, and that would be a lot of the people just go with that, and then for a year or two they can sign up and get a monthly or 2 weekly or weekly in the summer valet service. Yeah, keep the water nice.
And how effective are those creepy crawly things that you see that run around on the hoses with the little vibrating feet? Are they something that you encourage people to use? Are they effective?
Yeah, not so. We would do the robot cleaners are great. They're very effective. Cleaning up all the leaves off, the debris off the bottom of the floor. They scrub the walls, the tiles. They're not an aggressive scrub. They're just a passive scrub. So, but yeah, they're a nice addition. For a new pool, if you've got a lot of foliage around, absolutely.
And in terms of timing, you're talking about that dig that took 3 weeks in Mount Eden. It's a bit of an exception, but what was generally the time frame from the construction to the time I'm jumping in the pool to enjoy it for the first time?
We've always given an indication, so probably 8 to 10 weeks is a broad stroke. And what we consider in that is, weather. We build the shell, but then also considering the landscaping, how that ties in together, the fencing. So yeah, including those factors as well with the landscaping. 8 to 10 weeks.
And is there an ideal time of the year someone should start to consider getting their pool ready if they want to build a new one? People are, in summer, they think, we want to get a pool because it's hot. And then, of course, build a pool and it's sort of ready in winter. So are there better times of the year to reach out to you than others? Yeah,
like you say, it's always everyone gets encouraged by some good weather, and usually Labour weekend's the good time to get inquiries.
Yes.
Hey, can we get a pool for Christmas? And it's
not
the best time, but it's still a great time to start talking about it. And we could still get a pool for summer, January, February. So, obviously, no one size fits all for a good time. It's just when they feel encouraged or inspired to do something. But like I say, that's always that time where Christmas or summer gets a bit of warmth in the air, and people start ringing you up.
And have there been any consistent kind of feedback from people when they've got to the end of the process that they wish they'd done something, or they, at the beginning were like, we won't need that, or we shouldn't do that, and then actually get to the end of it and think, we wish we'd done that?
Yeah. I think that we try and capture that right at the beginning. So it's really important to, the landscape architects obviously will ask these questions, and then we try and capture it. The covers always, we talked about a cover a few minutes ago, they sometimes opt out of that. And then, because they're a little bit of a cost as well, so it's like, do we need a cover? Let's just leave it out because it's going to save us X amount of dollars. And then you get the pool built, and then, they ring you up and say, hey, can we do a cover? And it's not a nice option. At that stage, it's like on top and ugly. And so we like to conceal them, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so when we talk about covers, we always try and tuck them under a deck. So it actually comes out underneath everything and over and onto the water. When you do it later, it's a bit of a not nice to look at, if you know what I mean. So, try and capture those things early and encourage them to go ahead with it. Yeah. The other factor is if you don't have a cover, you got to upsize the heating, which is another cost.
Yep.
And then the running costs of that. So there's all these little factors that sort of stack up on each other.
So typically, do you think people are hung up about just getting the design process done and don't consider, or does it just sort of wash up in their power bills, for example? Does it just sort of become part of running the house?
Usually the one running the finances will think about that.
Yeah.
And that'll be a question. We actually have some really good info on because pools are quite specific on size and the heating sizes, so we always try and give them all the information we need on running costs for, say, a heater to run through, extended seasons, say from October through to Easter time sort of thing. So there is a generic sheet, if you like, just of what to expect to run your heater. And
is it more common these days to people to have a heater, as you say, to extend the actual swimmability time throughout the year?
I think Auckland's got a climate for it, so you can always get a really nice day in April, even extending out to May. So, when you've got children, they don't care. They're always going to, if they don't mind the cold, they'll just swim in it anyway.
Yep.
But, mum and dad still might want to have a swim. So, it's common to have that extended season capability. And so we design and size our heating to suit that. Yeah.
And you talked earlier about the quality time that's created by having a pool put into your property. Do you see also people make those decisions because a pool adds value to the property in the sense of resale?
Yeah, I think like you say, the value's more of the emotion. The value's the family time spent. There's a huge amount in that. Will you recover your costs? Probably, I think so. It'll definitely add value. You'll definitely recover costs if you've got a pool. People would, it's a good addition. As long as it's functioning as it should and well and easy, maintenance light, if you like. So yeah, definitely a good addition. But like I say, it's more the attachment, the family time that's spent. Yeah, I feel like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've been doing this for over a decade in terms of with Frontier. And so what do you get out of what you do? What's the enjoyment factor for you? Why do you do it?
Yeah, I love that feedback, creating something, from a vision. Obviously when we're involved early, it's a fantastic feeling to see a really nice end product. We're always, we're backing up our products as well. So it's always nice to talk to them, and, they always ring us up after, the pool's installed and up and running. And so, yeah, having that client feedback and, they're just, they're always commenting, it's just such a good addition to the home and the family time.
Invite you around for a swim afterwards?
Sometimes. Yeah. Not a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah. They definitely, I've had that. Yeah. Had clients have us back and do a bit of a tradie sort of dinner or whatever. So
yeah, nice.
That's nice.
You must have built so many different pools over the years, but have you got a favourite pool or a favourite kind of pool that sits out in your mind?
I think one of my favourite pools to build is a spa with a pool integrated. I think that because the reason I say that is I had the most feedback on spas attached to pools. The feedback is obviously back to the family. It's a place where mum and dad can sit and watch the kids, but also as they grow, this is feedback. They have the teenagers in there.
Yes,
mum and dad can talk to them. That's the real they're cool ones. Yeah, and
they literally you can kind of almost just swim over the edge.
Yeah, pop over. Usually you can just, swing your legs over and into the pool and, hot and cold and, therapeutic as well.
Yeah, nice. So it's really that transition of young kids playing, being noisy to actually coming to sit down and have a conversation with mum and dad about what's going on in the world.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, I've had that feedback quite a few times actually. So, yeah, definitely the spa edition is a nice option.
And if people want to learn more about some of the information or get some inspiration, what's the best thing they should do?
I think just go to our website would be a good start point, frontierpools.co.nz. That's a good starting point. You'll find all their contact details there. So, we've got a good wee team in the office and to answer calls and, obviously a good crew on the ground doing the work. So.
And can people just give you a call when they have no idea what they want? They just sort of ring and have a chat?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're always there to, advise and point people in the right direction. And that's the key. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I really appreciate you taking some time out of digging holes in the ground and creating quality memories for people to sit down and have a chat to me. It's been a pleasure to have a chat about what you do with the great stuff at Frontier Pools.
It's a real pleasure. Thanks very much.
And thanks to you for spending some time with us. Don't forget you can find all our episodes on our platform by visiting trendsproperty.com. Here you can browse ideas and inspiration, products, people and places offering solutions for you on your property journey. Remember, you can sign up and join the Trends Property community where you can connect, collect and collaborate with others or take advantage of our educational guides to help you take the right steps in the right direction. As always, thanks for listening. We hope to see you next time on the Trends Property Insight series where we help you find your place, your way. Ka kite, goodbye.